Hi guys, so I did a video actually a fair bit long ago on the Born Pretty stamping mixing oils and the Magician stamping gel. Now somebody commented recently saying she'd heard you could mix this with normal gel polish and still stamp, and I was curious and I wasn't sure because I actually hadn't tried that. So I gave it a whirl and it actually works, and I just thought I would show you. So I tested it with two different polishes. I tested with these two and I'm going to test a few more. So this one I know is highly pigmented and very thick. This one highly pigmented but runnier. So then I pulled some more brands in different shades of colours just to see what we get, because that would definitely be a game changer, just buying this rather than, you know, a ton of different stamping gel polishes or stamping polishes, you know, if you're just not using them very often. So I'm only putting small amounts down because I'm only mixing enough for one stamp. But I generally tried to make it about even Stevens or slightly more stamping oil. So I have a mix of cheaper brands, more expensive brands. They're a mix of pigments and they're a mix of thicknesses. And one thing I did notice with the other two is it does dilute the colour. This one, which I already tried, diluted a little less, and I'm assuming because it's so thick. But pigment also does play a factor. So this is highly pigmented, but this one is thinner by quite a lot, and this is a pure gel rather than a hybrid gel. Okay, that one got a slightly bigger dot. The next one I'm going to try is the Brush on Luxe. Now this one, this is a thinner consistency than some of the others in their range, but this also goes on with basically one coat. This is very, very good gel polish. I think my favourite one is actually one of the orange ones. It's perfect for Halloween. It's like the perfect pumpkin colour. And this one is Burlesque. It's a Glitterama and not Glitterama anymore. They are EL Nail Systems. But this is another one that has a lot of pigment, but is very loose. So you've got a whole big little whole mix there. So I figure what I would do is we'll try them out one at a time. I tried them on a clear background, which probably made them look pastier than they actually were. So I've done one layer of white gel polish on here so you can see what they look like. And I just wiped off the tacky layer. Okay, so now I've stopped fanny arsing around and got my stuff in gear. So we'll go for this one first because it's the closest. So we'll mix that part in because there was a little extra. And I'm going to do the same design to, you know, all the way over. So then they're the same. So I'm just going to scoop some on. Just the parts that I've mixed. Okay. I'll give it a scrape or roll. As you can see, it's picked up. And there we go. So as you can see, it has transferred, but your colour does fade. So let's pop that one in. Clean off my stamper. Clean off my plate. Dry it with the little dry edge. And we will mix the next one. So we may as well just go in reverse order. So we'll mix that. put a little more on this time, see if that makes much of a difference. This is the new stamper I got in that Temu haul. Definitely not my cleanest work, but in fact we will take that off, we're not messy. Not that messy anyway. Okay. So with this being a darker colour, that does show up quite a bit more. So we'll pop that one in. And if any of you are curious as to how I am cleaning my stamper, it's a very, very long nail form. A very long nail form. I still haven't tried those yet. I think I got them about 1.5 years ago to try and do these super extra long fancy nails I saw and then just didn't get around to it. So we will go for the red. So this is the Brush on Luxe one. I was going to go pop it straight on the nail then. So, I mean, the answer to the question quite obviously is yes, you can. But you are going to have to play around with your colours. Oh, well, hello. That was interesting. This is going to be very messy because of that, but there we go. You're going to have to play around with your colours, play around with your thicknesses of gels. And I had high hopes for this one replacing my Broken Bond Pretty one. Maybe if I super glue it, but now I lost my train of thought. Yes, play around with your thicknesses, play around with your pigments, and play around with your brands. Because as you can see so far, every one of these has most definitely worked. But they're showing up differently, and I think that is due to the pigments and everything else in them. And on a different stamping head, they may work better. I like this one because it's big, but compared to my other one, it's very pushy-inny. It's not as stiff. And to be honest, I like quite a stiff stamper. Do you see how that one's paled quite a lot? So that one was the Gel Excellence one, that's the really thick one. And can you see the gel and the gel oil are already starting to separate slightly? I'll check the others in the lamp when I'm done to see if there's done that to them as well. Maybe it's a case of needing a bigger mix, or maybe the gel polish just isn't right in general for it. I'm not entirely sure. That one seems to have sticked itself a little bit. So 1 second. Let's give it another dot. And another dot. That was quite an interesting reaction. And when I was practicing, I'd not tried with this brand together. Honestly. Now obviously I have picked a very, very pale colour to try this one with. It was just curiosity. But it does pick up well. And it stamps well even if you can't see it. I can. It would just need a very much darker base. So, yes, that does work. You can also mix this with regular stamping polishes to mix colours and dilute colours the way it has done with the gels. You can also mix it with chromes, mix it with pigment powders, you know, like they're the neon pigments, to get the colours you want. And this one is great to stamp as it is and rub chrome straight over the top. It's perfect. So let's get our experiments out. I'll just slap them on my fingers. So some of them are messy stamps, but it does work. You're just going to need to play with your ratios a little and watch for this, because as you can see, it has separated on a lot of them. That may be because I didn't choose to top coat. It may be because it doesn't really like to be mixed, or you may need to make different ratios to mix. But I would definitely give them a try. Thanks for watching, guys.